Forever. Dog.
Warning. The following Hauntcast contains Lego friends partying with NSYNC members, the Phantom of the Opera's daughter, and a hot take on a controversial topic, the song What I Like About You. Jayne Claire joins us to talk Beetlejuice's Graveyard Revue and much more on today's Hauntcast, The Fright.
Welcome to another installment of Hauntcast the Fright, the show where we, as we get into the meat of the episode, step into the blasts of giant fog machines for 90 seconds in order to change into our official podcasting regalia. I am normally Jason Sheridan, but this month am Jack-o'-lantern Slimedon, here as always with the creature once known as Michael R. Carlson, but this month known as...
This month I'm known as I Kill Gerson, but I want to change this because last week it sounded like I was admitting to killing girls. That is not what I am about, so I am changing my name to Pike, innocent of all allegations, son.
But what does this do for your reputation as a lady killer?
For the month of October, we're going to forget that phrase even existed alongside my name as a descriptor. Maybe we'll resume it after this whole thing blows over.
You can't erase that reputation. The world
I don't want
knows.
to, but for this month, I don't know what you're talking about. Joining us also...
I amended mine, but in a more minor way. I'm gonna be Scott Gravedigner. I'm going to add an N in there to tie it into my real name, which I'm not going to repeat because you don't need to know it for October.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, just little adjusts, snips and tucks. It's ever flowing. We're always adjusting.
As my scandal grows, I think perhaps I will also have to amend. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be done here, but
yeah, nip it in the bud. I think you're fine.
This October surprise really took me by surprise.
Scandal that could bring the whole thing down. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Beetlejuice's Graveyard Revue today, and we have a special guest coming all the way from the other room of the apartment that I am sitting in. She's a singer. She's a theme park professional. And she is my girlfriend. Please welcome Jayne Claire. Hi, sweetie.
Hello. Can I be Jayne Scare for now?
Yay! Wow,
yeah, that's good.
It's so
Jayne
easy.
Scare.
That one sets right in there.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for doing this. I just want to paint a quick picture for the listener. Jayne is sitting on a couch, and Jason is sitting next to the oven. Because of audio concerns, we had to go through a whole thing just now to figure out what the best way to get audio that was clean was going to be.
Want an echo and such. Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
Because like, lest we started to think that two people could have in the room chemistry on a podcast in 2020.
Mm-mm.
No. It needs to be as clunky as possible.
Yes, so yeah, we fumbled around a little bit, but now we've got it. And honestly, this is actually where Jason usually records the podcast when he's doing it remotely, next to that oven. I assume because perhaps you put cookies in at the start of a record?
Okay, here it goes. All right, well, now, so... I made a little spider hole. This is where I usually record. I pull two kitchen chairs. If I record at Jayne, sometimes I record at my house. But when I'm at Jayne's, I pull two kitchen chairs into the kitchen. And the reason for this is because there is a wall unit air conditioner that I was concerned about picking up. And in the spring, when it was more mild and chilly, we would just turn it off because there is a ceiling fan. And then I recorded the Griffin Newman episode here, and that went for 3 hours, and it was like an oven in here by the time it was done.
Well, you need to change your climate in general. You have to really think about it before a Griffin episode, because you know what,
right?
You know you're going to be there for half a day.
Exactly.
Yes, that is true. And Jayne is very patient, but even she has her limits.
I'm just excited that I get to be a part of one and don't have to be quiet in the next room for a couple hours. It's so fun.
Your usual
That's
role.
true.
Yes, indeed.
Do you ever hear Jason say stuff? Because like Lindsay, oftentimes when we would be recording at our apartment, she would yell stuff if she was in the kitchen and she heard something and she disagreed with a thing or she agreed with it. She would yell. Do you ever find yourself like hearing something Jason's saying and going like, "I'd like to like scream, that's wrong or that's right"?
Definitely, I think it, and then after I'll be like, "Did you say this?" And then I'll be like, either like, "Oh yeah," or like, "Oh crap," or like, it's fine," or like, "What?" I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel weird like interrupting it. I don't
Sure.
want to be.
Well, maybe this has to open it up. Maybe now we have to allow the interruption, the in the next room interruption. Now that we've introduced you to the audience officially.
I think from now on, if Jason says something that's really wrong, just feel free to yell in the background.
Oh.
I have permission now, so okay, sounds good.
I have another issue with the way that introduction happened, which is, Jason, when you're introducing your girlfriend on this podcast, what you're supposed to do is say, "My love," in a way that makes everyone very uncomfortable. That's the standard introduction of a significant other.
Very suspicious that you're hiding something or like going overboard to make amends. I try to give her professional bona fides to not try and like make being my girlfriend the most important thing, because it's surely not. I mean, it's the most important thing to me. But
well, thank you. That was very nice.
Yeah, I think you hit the right balance. And if the listener doesn't know what Scott is talking about, he's talking about my introduction of Lindsay's first appearance on the podcast, which some people considered a bit strange. Not to me. I thought it was normal.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It was like this, like you like shifted into a register I'd never heard. I just like, it's like you were playing a new scale that I was unfamiliar with.
Well, that's my love voice, and I don't really show it to the audience a lot, you know?
The voice is love. It means I'm in love.
I am I suppress everything. We all know that. So love had to eke out somehow. It eked out in a strange way that time. What can I say?
Crawled out of your vocal cords.
There's something wrong. There's something wrong with me. Okay, fine. We got to the bottom of it.
And then the other day, I immediately put you in the doghouse because we were on a Zoom.
Oh yeah,
my God! Are we going to talk about this?
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll get to that when Lindsay does the show. But yeah, I think like 2 years ago, she had like flagged Tower of Terror, and I forgot. I just forgot. There was another episode that I think we're going to do with her that was more forefront in my mind of like, oh, that's the next Lindsay episode. But I forgot. And yes, I got called out in the middle of a Zoom birthday party. Let's just put it that way.
That all of us were on. Organized by Jayne, where everyone was wearing Spider-Man masks. Yes. And in the midst of this spider revelry, some very awkward moments occurred.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to break me down in that future episode. And then also one of my old friends, so we've talked about this before, I think in the next couple of months, maybe a Wisconsin Dells episode, so we can break me down even further.
Oh, new angles of attack.
On that episode.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That puts my mind at ease because I just know my ass is going to get roasted today. I guess we should just get into it then.
Yeah,
sure.
Let's stop talking about our nonsense.
But that's, there was the question. Yeah, you forgot to give Lindsay the topic that she flagged. But this topic obviously had to be flagged for Jayne because Jayne is a performer in Beetlejuice. Well, that's the thing. I want to say Beetlejuice's Graveyard Review. You were in a Beetlejuice something or other because the name changed confusing. A bunch of times. What were you in?
So I was in Beetlejuice's Graveyard Mashup, which was the final version before the entire theater was demolished for Fast and Furious, supercharged.
Oh boy! Oh, the tragedy of tragedies. And so that puts it in Florida because you this show hasn't been in Hollywood for a while. But you did work in Florida, and now you've been out here, and you've worked at Universal out here as well.
Yeah. So I actually did my last show at Beetlejuice like a week or two before I left for LA. The show was closing about the same time that I was leaving, which ended up working out really nice. So I did my last show, which I found on YouTube, and I'm so happy that somebody got my very last show. Because as I was watching it, I was like, oh, I remember doing that thing and that thing. Oh my God, this is my last ever show. Somebody captured it. Like, I was really happy, like, to have that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's amazing. Wait, this was passed to us, and I watched it, and I didn't realize it was literally the last one. That's pretty special.
my last one.
Your last, not the last one ever.
It wasn't the. Yeah, so that was my last show, and because I was watching it, and I noticed there's some times where like Beetlejuice will give me like a little kiss, or one of the dancers would like hold my hand, and I was like, oh my God, this was my last one. I like had to try to not cry that whole show.
Shit. Wow.
Do you know how many shows you did in total, or about?
That's a good question. Probably.
It's like how many...
I don't know. Yeah, we would do like. It depends on the schedule, but we would do maybe 4 shows a day. And I was a sub, so I would be there maybe once or twice a week at most. Because in Florida, I kind of hopped around different venues. So I wasn't full-time at that venue, but I would do like the Diagon Alley show. I would do one of the shows in Hogsmeade. And then I would do Beetlejuice. So I would be working at the park like 4 days a week, but between like 3 different venues. So I don't know, a couple dozen, maybe more than that of Beetlejuice. It definitely became in my body enough that when I was watching it back the other day, I started doing it. And I was like, I don't know how I know this still. Like, this is weird. Like,
possessed you? Ooh.
Yeah, right. I'm being taken over.
I should say one of my favorite stories about your theme park resume came up because so we were doing the Downtown Disney Ordeal, and on the episode about the Lego store in Downtown Disney, Mike revealed to us about the Lego Friends. The backstory about, the friends, the Lego friends. They're just a bunch of fun-loving gals. And we had fun. We were talking about the backstory. We showed the picture. And after we recorded that episode, Jayne, you and I were like hanging out, and I was talking about the recording. I was like, by the way, do you know about the Lego Friends? And I held up a picture, and you were like, yeah, I know the Lego Friends. That's me, idiot. Like, I was like, what? And I look, and the picture that Mike had found from the official website of Legoland, Jayne was in.
Wow.
This is true. Can confirm. Yeah.
So, wait, I found a photo, and remind me what I found. It was just a picture of people playing the Lego Friends in Legoland. Was that what it was?
I think it was the promo shot of us on what was called Mia's Riding Adventure, which was one of the rides in Heart Lake City, which is what the town was called. So the franchise had already existed. The toys came out as kind of like, this is our Barbie type thing, but it's our own IP for Lego, I guess, maybe. To kind of appeal to like young girls in the cliche, world that Lego likes to live in, I guess. But yeah, we were on the ride on the horses because we did a whole day. I was one of the media girls, which was like a big deal because I never got to be one of the media girls. So I got to be the media girl. So I was in all the pictures and promo and opening day and stuff. So yeah, whenever those PR pictures come around, I'm always like, oh, there it is.
Wow. So yeah, media girl was like, that meant that you would be out front. I assume they would put like the best performers of some like, is that kind of what the thinking was when like they would choose people?
There's a lot of things that go into it, but I would say, I mean, that sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, and I definitely don't mean that, but I had to work hard to become a media girl. No, it was kind of like whoever they thought, like, yeah, who was the most prepared at that point, because some stuff gets kind of thrown in last minute, or who they know is reliable when things get a little chaotic, because some people fall apart more quickly, and like for example, the show we did that's actually online, like that all the like attractions magazine and everything covered, my track for my song skipped and they had to go back. And there's like this look of panic on my face because I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And it was fine, but I was like, you never know what's going to happen on like the show day because everything's kind of thrown together. So it's a couple things. Yeah, I mean, that was really fun. It was really fun to open a show and actually play a character that's like a real character that's already around because a lot of the other stuff I do, it's like, or I did is like versions of. So like for the Hogwarts School Choir, I wasn't like a specific Hogwarts character. I was like a prefect who's a Gryffindor. So like Lego was the only time I got to play like an actual character, which felt really cool because like there was also a fountain outside and I got to be a voice in the fountain. So for years, I think they changed it now, but for a couple of years, there was like you could step on something and you'd hear my voice, and that was really cool.
Whoa, part of an
What was your
attraction,
line?
part of a thing in a physical place. That's the dream. What did you say? Do you remember any lines from this character?
Yes, it was just one, and I have a video of it, and it was just, "You're the star." That's it. That's it.
Pretty good. Pretty fun.
Wow.
And it wasn't like the fountain. There's that fountain at Universal, or they used to have it where the performer was somewhere else and they would be talking. It was different than, or was that?
No, it was different from that. So,
Okay.
the theme of Heart Lake City was like girl power, friendship, but also like music and like being a rock star, pop star kind of vibe. So, it was a literal heart-shaped pool that was there because it used to be Cypress Gardens, and Cypress Gardens had a heart-shaped pool already. That's a whole nother thing. But you would step on different like shapes, and each Lego friend would say different things as you stepped on it. So
And
it was like a little trigger.
Did I miss which one were you of the Lego friends?
Oh, I opened as Olivia, I think, and then I also cross-trained into Emma and Stephanie briefly. But Olivia was my main character. Yeah.
Of course.
We all know them very well. Olivia's the book.
Yeah.
Is Olivia a bookworm? Or just Olivia has glasses?
Olivia, honestly, Emma liked karate. So she had like karate. It's so ridiculous, y'all. Okay, so Andrea was the lead, and she was like the pop star singer. So the whole concept, I feel like we're talking about Lego Friends now, but
No, I love this. Please.
okay. So the whole concept of the show that I did was called Lego Friends to the Rescue. So Andrea was like, I have this big show in Heart Lake City, but I'm nervous because it's not going well and I need my friends to help me get through it. So we came to the rescue and then like did the show with her, and it was like Power of Friendship, which was literally one of the songs. So yeah, one girl was like really like Stephanie was like, I'm the tech girl and I'll handle your sound and lighting, and like one girl's like, I'm good with decorations, and one girl, Mia's like into animals. It really had nothing to do with it. It was just like put a paw print on her costume and she'll wear pants and not skirts like everybody else because she's a tomboy. Like,
This is
He is
dense
off on our
mythology.
animal. He is throwing blood at the audience.
What a time.
I'm on a as I got obsessed with. I was talking a lot of Disney.fandom.com last week, and now I'm on brickamedia.org for Olivia. Wait, I'm sorry. This is Brickopedia, but the web address is Brickamedia. So if you want Brickopedia, go to brickamedia.org. And when you look up Olivia, somebody has taken the time to list every outfit Olivia has ever worn. This is one of the densest things I've ever seen. Amber vest, light pink skirt, and white shoes. Magenta top, light blue skirt, and white shoes. I'm scared to see.
Very normal, very cool.
Yeah. Normal stuff to spend your time doing for no pay.
Normal
I swear, I think I've like seen people like. I've seen the Wikipedias for people who are like running for president that are like way less thorough than the Olivia page. This just this goes and goes, and I'm disturbed. I'm gonna try to. There's a lot of like is it like her address? They have addresses? What are you talking about?
They have their address?
Wait, no, maybe this is like
played
codes.
the character and don't even know this.
I
They are doxing. Olivia has been doxed by Brickamedia. Olivia and Emma have been doxed.
Is Brickamedia like an Alex Jones or like a Matt Drudge type website, Scott? Are you sure you're not on like an alt-right Lego website?
It's a QAnon world that believes that Heart Lake City is a real place, and that these little creatures are like throwing the power balance. I think the numbers I'm seeing are the codes of the Lego sets. So 41033 Jungle Falls Rescue is the name of the set, not an address of a place.
Olivia is part of the George Soros gang.
Oh no.
We got to get some people over to Jungle Falls Rescue.
Part of the Illuminati. Olivia's part of the Illuminati.
Well, this is almost too perfect of a transition because Jayne, when you were Legoland used to be this botanical garden, like
Cypress Gardens.
Yeah. And you told me once about like the building they would use for like, private parties and like rehearsal space sometimes was kind of like you would describe it as like a big old house, right?
Yeah.
Like a certain style of like a big old with like big columns in front.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? A plantation house. It was a plantation house.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, unfortunately, this was the Deep South, and the history came along with it, and they tried their best to make it kid friendly, and you adapt and do what you can. But yes, we did rehearse in like this giant mansion plantation house where it was like weirdly empty with like a grand staircase, but upstairs there was like one suite that was themed to Lego Friends that you could win to stay in, but the rest of the house was like so creepy and empty. It was so weird, and like, yeah, it was a weird.
This is a haunted mansion, essentially, partially themed to Lego Friends instead of ghosts.
Precisely.
Wow.
And the other place you told me you rehearsed at was
Legoland did what they could, and the other place we rehearsed was the 4D theater, but like after hours, and we would be in the front where there was like all that space between the audience and the screens, but not all the special effects turned off at night, so we'd be like running the show, and then like puffs of air would come out and scare us so bad because like they were timed, and I don't know why they didn't shut off, so we'd be like running the show and be like, okay guys, like and just like all this like this stuff would come out, and like it scared me. Because as a kid I was scared of everything in theme parks, and I always was like, you can't go past that line because someone will come out and get you. So like I was a little bit scared.
Sure.
You're in it after hours, and gas is shooting at you. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fog. That evil fog that teens love. When you were a kid, you said you were scared of everything. Were you like scared, obviously, and intrigued because you ended up being a performer in these shows? Or was it truly fear?
Yeah, so I grew up in Orlando for a lot of my childhood. We moved around a lot, but then I went back as an adult. So I guess about half of my life was spent in Orlando. So we went to Disney World pretty much every weekend when I was 5 till I was 10. We had like passes, and we lived.
Wow.
Yeah. So I definitely really liked the entertainment, and if there was like an empty little spot or a stage, I remember, because I'm also the youngest and like just love attention, which Jason knows nothing about, and I would like hop on the little stages, but I was like cute, I was like 5, and I'd hop on the little like stages that they'd have and like start singing, and people would like clap and shit. So I think like I was destined to do what I did, but no, I was scared more of like attractions, I think, because my imagination is so wild, which is why things still scare me as an adult, because I would like start to think like this could happen, and like, well, this will happen, so my imagination would go before my like reality would.
Sure. So were you more, did you like the shows at theme parks more than the rides, or was it both?
I would say probably yes. All of my family did though too, so like my favorite show was the Hunchback of Notre Dame that they had at MGM when it was MGM. I remember that show like so vividly. I thought it was so amazing, and I do think that's part of the reason I wanted to like be a performer, maybe specifically theme park. I really liked that, and I liked the rides fine too, but I was always more interested in like what was going on entertainment wise, I think.
Sure.
Oh, which we kind of like neglect shows a lot. I feel this is a different perspective. I don't know. We've missed a lot. We haven't talked about that Hunchback thing. And here it's one of your big influences.
Oh, it's so good. It's on YouTube, and it's so good. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I mean, we briefly mentioned. I mean, we've done a couple of little shows here and there. Like stuff like as a kid, I always liked that Little Mermaid show. They still do it at MG or Hollywood Studios.
Well, R.I.P. to most theme park shows, as we all know.
Yes, this is our heart
Breaking
goes out
news,
to all these people that are laid off from these shows that are like
not only
major
that,
productions. Well, yeah,
some are closed permanently as of like 12 hours ago. Can I say this, Jace?
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's on the blog. Yeah, it's
Okay.
hit the wire. Yeah.
So my friends that worked at Disneyland, they just were told that Frozen is officially like closed and Magical Map is officially closed. So they didn't get to have their final show. Like for me with Frog Choir out here, I mean, I guess I'll say it because I don't think I'm doing it again. I didn't know that I had my last day. Like in retrospect, I know, but like I didn't know like the last show that I did before COVID, which was like March 12th, maybe. I had no idea that was my last ever show doing that show. So, I mean, it's kind of nice because then you don't have like the sadness attached to it while you're doing it. But now it's a little bit like I didn't really get a formal last show. And it's a little sad. But like, yeah, it's kind of wild right now.
That's super sad.
Yeah, well,
What a
those, I
bummer
mean,
for everybody.
yeah, there's tons of people that it's very sad. It's very, it's, like these shows, like Frozen especially is like just major production. Like it's like they put so much time, obviously, and they've done the show now for a couple of years, and it's like, it's just gone.
I mean, it's so much. I mean, and with Magical Map too, there's so many costumes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's so many. Like they're all such great skits, and it's sad because I feel like too over the years, as with Beetlejuice, you know, that got taken out not during COVID, but just to replace with a ride of a franchise they thought would be a better, you know, attraction for that area. And I think over the last few years, like live performance has taken a bit of a hit, and then now with COVID and everything, it's just demolished. So I hope that in the coming years when things start to pick back up, it will recover. But it's definitely a really weird time right now for a lot of people in theme parks, not just entertainment. But
Yeah.
Fast and Furious
Yeah,
Supercharged is the COVID of theme park attractions.
hell yeah, brother. Hear that?
Now that's a
Good way to think
guess.
of it.
I didn't do it. I only know the tram one, but if I had to guess, and Jason has not said kind things.
Right.
No, I'm waiting. I'm keeping all of my little thoughts because when we went to Florida for like to do the live show, I was the only one who went on. That was like the last thing before I got on the like lift to the airport. I picked up my bag and I was like, God, I can't believe my last ride was Fast and Furious Supercharged. This sucks.
But the vision, like now you can get on the plane and imagine, like, what if Vin Diesel was hanging off of the bottom of this sucker?
Oh man.
What if Dom was sitting next to you?
I wish Delta played Turn Down for What as I got onto the flight
Yeah, that
in
would have been nice.
2019.
So let's talk about this show, which here, so just the primer for anybody who doesn't know it. Let me say, like, because I didn't know the version that you did, Jane, but I grew up with it in Universal Hollywood. So my synopsis would have been, it was a show that is hosted by Beetlejuice of the film Beetlejuice, and where Universal classic monsters get involved in a big old rock and roll review.
That's about it.
That pretty much said, like, they're all like variations of that. But as time went on, there was some like adding of original IP of which you were part. But this began like around. Was it an opening day at Universal Florida? Or did they add it in '92?
I think it was.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, someone. But I'm pretty sure
it was
it
not?
wasn't. Was it 1 or 2 years?
You told me what was the opening day was. There was a short-lived An American Tail 5 show.
Duh. That was first at the stage in Florida.
Okay.
So the venue was there, I think, at opening, but it wasn't that show. Yeah, you're right. There was Five Goes West. Or is that right?
Yeah,
that's the
it would have been.
movie.
There was a Five Goes West thing, I think.
I think it was the first Fievel, and then Fievel Goes West is what the play area is more.
Oh,
more
okay,
themed to.
okay.
So that was a pretty quickly like. It seemed like a pretty quickly thrown together like Fievel stage show. And it kind of doesn't make sense because it was just an amphitheater in between New York streets and San Francisco streets. So like, I don't quite I guess the mice land in I guess that makes sense. Kind of.
Kind of.
Mini Ellis Island area. But what could make more sense for Universal Studios than deploying the classic monsters? And the show that I recall from 90s Universal Hollywood, it's the classic lineup. It's Frankenstein, it's Dracula, it's Bride of Frankenstein. And then the Phantom of the Opera, which was kind of the biggest swing in the original one, because he has sort of like a kind of a new wave vibe with his not jet black, his jet white hair. How do you describe white hair? Not jet. Jet wouldn't be part of it. But I just love his look a lot. He's the most like kooky, where he looks like he's out of the Jetsons movie or something.
I saw the Phantom I watched a video from 1992, and I think it was the one in Florida, and he looks very much like Jordan Klepper to me.
Oh, he's got the big hair.
He's got the big hair, and he's got the
hair.
Like a pink outfit.
So the Phantom would probably know a ton about politics if you got him going.
Exactly.
He could explain to us everything that's going on in this crazy country.
92 Phantom.
Yes, 92 Phantom would be an expert in 2020 politics. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm trying to remember my feelings about this. I remember liking the show, and it's the degree of scary and rock music that is pushing I'm saying is when you're 7 or 8, it does feel scary because they are monsters, and it does feel like rock music because you're unwilling to push the boundaries of hard rock music when you're 8. So I viewed this as an extremely adult attraction when I was 8.
Can I back you up with that? Because as an adult learning the show, when we put on our costumes for the first time for like tech runs at night, I was scared of all the Frankensteins.
Hey, all right.
because they have these shoes that are like just so big, and oh my god, I was scared. Like I was a little scared of them because they were so tall.
Yeah, very tall.
Very intimidating.
I get it, Scott.
Hey, all right.
As a kid, I will say, like if Beetlejuice, when it comes into the audience, he does a lot of crowd work, especially early on in the show. That always would freak me out, even if it was just like we were seeing some sort of like dinner theater show and like the host would come out in the audience. I would get scared of the host, even if he had no monster.
It is so unnerving.
I was like, don't mention me. Don't talk to me.
I think that's where my anxiety started as a person was audience participation in theme park when I was a child, because I remember that happening a couple of times because I was so little. Like they'd come over and I just would be like, I hate this. Like, get away from me. And to this day, I don't like interactive theater. I'd rather either be in the audience or on the stage. Like in between makes me like sweat buckets. Like
that's a good point.
Yeah,
it's neither here nor there.
I need to like I need to know going in. It's like you're part of this, and you're performing essentially. Or I usually like 9 times out of 10, I just want to sit there and observe.
Yeah,
hard agree.
Also, the logic of this is a little confusing because Beetlejuice comes out, does like 8 minutes of crowd work, and then goes backstage. He's like, "You gotta say my name. You gotta say my name so I can come out." And it's like, wait a minute, you were just out here like yucking it up. Now you need to be summoned?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Suspend your disbelief, you know?
Or is it to like turn on his rocking abilities? Like you're just getting like warm up Beetlejuice, and then but he can't rock till you say his name thrice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably it has a lot to do with rocking, probably.
It's probably in the book. It's probably in the book from the movie. There's probably a chapter on the rules of rock for the recently deceased.
What a rockin' show! I watched this is in I think the Defunct Land about the show, but it's also in the I love anytime we can discuss the John Forsythe hosted Universal souvenir video that is on YouTube and is a delight. John Forsythe of Charlie's Angels fame, who has this does all this very like stiff narration of each Universal attraction, and his quotes about this one are tremendous. He calls it a rock and roll review of Monster Mashers. They're dead. We're grateful. He says so wistfully. He says like more lovingly than I've said. Like it's like sweeter than anything I've said to this baby yet. It's so like just they're dead and grateful.
That's awesome.
Thank you. We salute you. I know I'm
That's
making a
also-
joke about a band name, but also Beetlejuice, I salute you, sir.
That's like also like it sounds like he's on a porch in a rocking chair, like just like kind of staring off into the distance with like a little twinkle in his eye.
Just having memories about things he's seen. His like, yeah, he's dying, and the thing he remembers the most about being on this earth was watching Frankenstein rock.
Yeah.
Really
He
lovely.
does look. He looks old as hell in these souvenir videos, which I remember. I would have like a gift shop. I would always want them, but they're like, no, this is $40.
They're strangely overpriced. Yeah, and little do they know,
Yeah.
it would just be strewn on YouTube for anybody to watch and make fun of. And it is funny that, like, I think I have the same thing. Just like, I'm not even willing to ask my mom. This isn't worth the favor. And then, like, what you and I were coveting so much, Jason, was a video where an old man thanks monsters.
And the other thing is, if you go to a travel agency at the time and ask for information, they would either hand you that or just tell you to write away to this address, and Disney will send you the almost identical video every year.
Mm-hmm. But not with Charlie. Not with relevant to
not
us
with-
as children. The voice
Yeah,
of
you wanted-
Charlie.
Yeah.
You wanted that specific old man.
He's a really
I mean,
you
dynamic
wanted-
old man.
You wanted an old man who looked like the portrait of Dorian Gray, who is not represented in this show. The painting that ages while the man stays the same.
Let me guess. You hate your monthly phone bill.
Hi, this is Lindsay and Kelly from Teen Creeps. And we used to hate our phone bill too. You're not alone.
No. But then we learned about Mint Mobile. And now Mint Mobile is introducing their unlimited data plan for just $30 a month.
Let that sink in. An unlimited plan for $30. Forget big wireless. Leave them. Girl, you're better than them.
Too good.
Too good. Imagine that right now we're all drunk in a bathroom at a club. And I'm
Yes.
saying this to you.
Drunk girl bathroom energy.
How much is your soon-to-be ex wireless provider charging you?
You're too good for them, girl. I use Mint Mobile. I love it. I was introduced to them about a year ago because of Forever Dog, and I will not go back to anything else. It's so much cheaper. I used to be paying like close to $100 a month for my old plan, and I'm not even going to tell you their name.
Who are they? We don't even care.
No, my best friend signed up for it because I have talked about Mint Mobile. She loves it.
I seriously just scream about Mint Mobile to anybody that'll listen because like it is so much better than the big wireless companies. And like truly, it's exactly my service is the same as it was when I was paying like $90 a month. It's just way, way cheaper. And I want my friends to save money.
Because it uses all the same towers.
Yeah, my mom and my sister have it and they love it.
By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you.
All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I can't even imagine in this day and age trying to switch my phone number everywhere.
Like, what do you do? Do you just like put it on Twitter and hope for the best? If you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee.
Break up with Big Wireless and switch to Mint Mobile's premium unlimited data plan for $30 a month.
And make sure to check out the ultimate YA Pulp Fiction podcast, Teen Creeps, every Wednesday, right here on Forever Dog.
To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $30 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/theride.
That's mintmobile.com/theride.
Hi, Forever Dog listeners. It's Manila Luzon.
And Latrice Royale.
This year, we've seen what staying silent can do. And right now, you have an unprecedented opportunity to speak up. Cast your vote and be heard.
It's never too early to register to vote, but it might be too late before you know it.
We want to help make it easy for you to register and have a plan for November 3rd, or before if early voting is an option in your state, so that your country can finally reflect your values.
Go to foreverdogpodcast.com/vote to register. Check on your registration often and learn how to fill out your ballot.
Each state is different, so make sure you're following local rules and regulations.
And remember, your voice, your vote.
That's foreverdogpodcast.com/vote.
Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.
Hello, Forever Dog listeners. This is Julie Klausner,
And I'm Tom Sharpling.
and we host a podcast called Double Threat on the Forever Dog Network that we are commanding you to subscribe to. Tom, what is Double Threat?
Well, thank you for asking, Julie. Double Threat's a show where you and I listen to clips of things that drive us up the wall, and we make fun of them, and we make each other laugh, and we have a great time doing it.
And we watch silly things and listen to silly clips like Alec Baldwin interviewing Woody Allen on his podcast, which was a nightmare from hell.
And did you know that disgraced pizza magnate Papa John is giving tours of his mansion over on TikTok? We do, because we watched it, and it was not good.
By the way, we should also mention that the AV Club named us one of the best podcasts of 2020 because they did, and it's true, and we are, baby.
And here on Double Threat, we got great guests. We had guests like Deezus and Mero,
Bob the Drag Queen,
Patton Oswalt,
Io Adebri.
and that, my friends, is just the tip of the iceberg.
That
Double
is-
Threat comes out each and every Monday, and you can subscribe on the Forever Dog Network, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Do it. Subscribe. Goodbye.
I'm sure we could jump all around and talk about various monsters who appeared in the thing. And as it started, it was kind of these initial, like, it's the classics. But Jayne, that is not what you played in the show. You were a later addition and original IP to this world.
Yes.
Can you tell us what you were?
Yes, I have some props here, which I know the audience can't see.
Oh, great.
But
Describe
I
them.
was able to like sneak off with some stuff. So I have my mask.
Oh, a mask.
Wow.
There's a clue.
There's my mask.
Whoa, it's
poor girl. There's
studded
so
and
much
sparkled.
makeup just stuck on the inside too from the Florida sweat heat makeup melt.
Right.
I love having this. And then I also have the collar that I had to wear.
Oh,
Wow.
a little neck brooch thing. Neat.
I hated this thing because you were like belting and they were like putting this thing around your neck. So you were like, "Ah," but no, it's good. It's fun. I got to keep. Well, it's the smallest thing I could walk away with because like the top. Can I talk about my costume since we're kind of on that?
Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Oh,
wait, and say the
yeah.
name of the character,
Well,
though.
Oh,
Who
I
is
didn't
this
say what
character?
I was. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so my character his name was Fantasia, the Phantom of the Opera's daughter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it was cool. Yeah, she was cool. It was fun because she's kind of more like she wore pants, but the rest of the girls like wore skirts. So I felt like she was more of this like tomboy rocker chick vibe, and that was like way fun because that's more my vibe anyway. So like, it was just cool, and she has like her own DJ booth, and like, it was so wild. I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of myself because I don't know what we're gonna talk about. But
She's like in it becoming a little less rock oriented. I think you lose the non-played live instruments on stage. You lose the fake guitar, and it becomes more of a dance oriented show. And you really, Fantasia is the leader of this, doing the mashups from the title. Like Fantasia has to pull hits from the 80s and combine them with the hits of today.
Mm-hmm.
you know that's true. Yeah, there's a line where I say to Cleo, who comes out, who's the other character in the show that was a new IP, and it was, "I got you, girl. I'll spin this." So yeah, she was up there spinning away those mashup tunes.
Delightful.
And you get a narration. You get introduced. You get like a cue, and a giant contraption rotates you onto stage, which
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like for the first version of the show, it rotated and the Phantom's like organ was there. And then for a while it was just a chair and the characters Hip and Hop would be leading on it. Two perplexing characters.
Oh yeah, this was in everything we're describing is version 4, but version 3 started the drift to hip hop with the characters Hip and Hop, who seemed to be they were front and center in Beetlejuice's performance of Hey Ya.
Jayne, I'll set you up for this. Will you talk about your connection to another version of this show and Hip and Hop?
So I always kick myself for making the choice I made on this one rainy Orlando day. So they had auditions come through a lot for Universal Japan and whatnot, and they have them, everywhere. But Orlando, they would always come through Orlando for stuff like that. And I went to the open call for Universal Japan for Beetlejuice, and they kept me at the time for Hip and Hop, and I was like, this is really cool. And I wasn't doing the show yet, I don't think, in Orlando. I think this was before. And I kept making through rounds. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the only girl that they're keeping right now for Hip and Hop. Like, this is crazy cool. But before the final dance callback, I had another callback at Orlando Repertory Theater, which was one of the professional theaters in Orlando, for Fiona and Shrek the Musical. And I was like, if I don't go to this, they're going to be really pissed that I didn't show up because that's rude. So I was like, do I leave this one where I'm killing it? I was like, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll talk to them about it. So then I was like, hey man, I have another audition. Can we work this out? They were like, come back tomorrow for the dancer call and you can do that callback. I ended up just really shooting myself in the foot because I was so caught up with the Beetlejuice audition that at the Shrek one, I just flopped so hard and was I was not mentally there. And then I went back to the dance callback the next day. And it was for dancers, and I was there for singer mover, so I looked like shit and couldn't keep up because it was for hardcore dancers. So I didn't get either job, and I just was man, I was so close to being Hip and Hop, but my life worked out very well, and I'm happy. But at the same time, I'm like, man, what if I had booked Hip and Hop? Man, those cool costumes and wigs.
In hindsight, would you have rather been Hip and Hop or Fiona?
Oh, Hip and Hop for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because I ended up seeing. Well, I can't say. I don't want to say anything.
Okay, all right, sure.
But there was
some secrets.
There was a possibility of a Japan, but being what is your job? I am hip and I live in Japan.
Yeah.
Darling, we could have met so many years earlier when you were Hip or Hop and I was Austin Powers.
Well, that was Singapore.
Oh, it was Singapore. Well, I would have been over there, and I've got a long weekend off coming up, and Japan still has Jaws. So, what is the quickest way to get Singapore to Japan? Does my discounts work? Do they?
I think that would have for sure happened. Had
Definitely
you
for sure
taken my advice and applied to be Austin Powers in Singapore.
I know.
Hopefully still possible one day.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
If we started having to record this, the virus is over. We're doing this. We're still doing it via Zoom because Jason lives in Singapore now. He's doing it late at night. We're doing it first thing in the morning.
He's still wearing his crushed velvet suit when he gets home.
Hey, didn't have time to change. Let's just get right into it. I'm ready to go.
He puts the Swedish-made penis enlarger pump on the counter as he gets home, smashes it down. It's like, all right, let's record.
Long day. And we're talking about King Arthur's Carousel, and he's like, I just think this is one of the most shagadelic attractions. It's he doesn't even know what he's saying anymore.
Oh, God damn it. Hey, it's possible.
Some facts that I wrote down about Fantasia from her introduction, Beetlejuice says that she's a real daddy's girl, and she's a phantom who needs no opera. That's all fun. And now that's all good, but I can't believe that. Let me just admit this, that I genuinely laughed out loud at Cleo's introduction, during which Beetlejuice said, "Sphinx better have my money." I actually laughed at that.
It's pretty good.
I forget if that was improv or not because the Beetlejuice had improv room.
Yeah.
They had room for that. I feel like that was actually in the script though, because it was timed with the way the pyro and the music would hit. But yeah,
That's pretty
Sphinx better have
dicey
my money.
for them. If to put, well, it's not a bad word, but it's if you fill it in mentally. Wow, thanks for having my money.
Yeah, he's a little blue in that video. He got bluer. I feel like as years went on, because in the '92 version, he's a lot less aggressive. He's more like kind of like I'm this guy, and then by 2006, he's like, yeah, I just took a huge shit. Like that's that's like there's a joke there too. He's like, oh, don't I forget what he says. Like I just
corn. He's talking about corn and his shit.
Creature of the Black Lagoon. I just made in the toilet.
I had to drop my creature off at the Black Lagoon. If you know what
There
I mean.
you go. That's a better
yeah.
joke. And then he's like talking about manscaping. Yeah.
He talks about manscaping.
So, like, he does he's like, I think he's talking to the wolf man at that point.
Wow.
So
was he a podcaster from 3 years ago?
Hopefully.
Those were ubiquitous. You bring up the off-color nature of the show. There are versions of this that I think were technically PG-13 because it is a little more adult. And this is the official description from touring plans, from Lynn Testa's touring plans. In response to concerns from parents, Beetlejuice's bawdy banter has been toned down since the show's original incarnation, but he still does some off-color improv with the audience.
Oh
Officially
my gosh, this is
designated B for bawdy.
Wow, it's like I like Len. Len was probably just as offended as I would be by going with some sort of bawdy show, and he wanted to make sure that the people knew that Beetlejuice was going to be talking about taking a shit.
Oh yeah, I personally got told something that was too bawdy about my show. If I could share that,
Yes, of
I don't
course.
know if this is allowed. I think Jason knows where I'm going with this.
I don't.
Okay. No, okay. So
Mind
the
blown.
cost okay, so I was gonna talk about the costume. I guess I'll get back to that. So the
yeah.
costume for Fantasia was like a bustier that was hella padded, and then like I mean, that's what I want to talk about first. It's like the bustier was hella padded. So like the first day of rehearsal, we had fittings, and I remember them going, she needs a bigger size and more padding, and I was like, burp, 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 and felt bad about myself. But it's okay. So basically, we also learned how to like contour our. I don't know. I want to be appropriate to the good boys here, so I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
However you'd
Bosom?
like to describe.
No, wait, no, we're getting crazy. We just had the debut of the word panties on the show. We could do
hell yeah,
whatever
kings.
now.
Let's get it cracking. So my boobies were
That sounds
like
good, yeah.
looking
Yeah,
crazy. And I guess a couple audience members were like, that her boobs are a little like we're uncomfortable. And the stage manager was like, hey, we could you maybe not contour them so much, because from audience it's playing like really not appropriate. And I was like, okay, but like also the padding was like 4 inches thick, and like also I was wearing like a Victoria's Secret push-up bra. Like it was meant to be like that. Like so it was just kind of like yeah, it was
So,
a
like,
very
Parents like
Yeah.
parents like went and found a worker. Like
apparently
like they put
or
effort- they
somebody
put-
did.
they put effort into that.
Yeah, and I wasn't the only girl who had that problem. The full-time girl was well endowed, and the costume made it look more crazy. And so, like, I remember I felt so bad for her because people online were like, "Oh, look at that boob lady," and it's like, "Come on, guys!" Like, that's. I felt so bad because, like, what is she supposed to do about it? Like,
And this is the same, property that brought us Bill and Ted's, like,
oh, okay,
Bill
yeah.
and Ted's hate crime adventure every Halloween.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean, I am sure being in these shows, especially being a woman, like you run into like from every angle. You
Try
run into
being
like
a
these
Hogwarts student,
I'm
wearing
sure.
a skirt, and
Oh,
having
no.
creepy old dads take pictures with you, and people like touching you in meet and greets where you're like, "Get off of me, sir!" Like,
Like
yeah.
it has to like I can only imagine like you're hearing like this is too extreme. This isn't good enough. You're not good enough. It's good. And then like people weirdos in the park like you're just like there's like 10 battles you're probably fighting at once. Often, I'm assuming that's my assumption.
Yeah, definitely. And also just like in the entertainment community, there's typically more women than men competing. So like also at the same time, they're very quick to be like, you're replaceable. You know what I mean? Like, I guess everybody is in theme park, but like you definitely do feel like if there's a younger girl or a girl who just did a show that like got a lot of notoriety, she could take my job. Like, so yeah, it was, I mean, that's a very small part of this. I don't want you guys to think I didn't enjoy my experience, but yeah, it definitely is a part of it.
But it's
I mean, it sounds like too what we've heard. Like people have a lot of different like jobs as well. So like it feels like your stability ends up like you're like, well, I'm doing 3 shows at once, just because that's sort of the nature of this, and people get shuffled in and out, and it feels not permanent from what we've understood.
Yeah, theme park work. I mean, a lot of entertainment work is not permanent. I think that can be, a lot of people can relate to that. However, with theme park jobs, every year we would have to almost like re-audition kind of thing. They were called like our contract auditions, I think. And each like February, you would have to go in, do like a song and a monologue, depending on what your role was, just to kind of like keep in touch and freshen up and stuff. And then at that time, they'd also go like, we want to cross-train you here. Let's have you read for this. Or like, we think maybe, and whatever. And after that, the talks would be who's going to have the 4-day contract, who's going to have the 3-day contract, who are going to be the top 3 under that, and who's going to go in the pool. So every year you could change, and like also someone could get a contract on it. So this actually relates back to my Beetlejuice audition. I was the second cast to learn the new show. So I wasn't the opening cast of the version that I did, but I was in rehearsals as they were opening. So they had this replacement audition because the girl who originally got cast as Fantasia for the next round of people learning it, she booked a cruise ship job. So they had a last minute like, oh shit, we need to fill this. So I randomly got pulled in because I was internal and I had just auditioned from my contract audition. And so it was like me and a handful of other girls that already worked in the park that I knew. And they had us just like head to head doing like choreo and like singing and harmonies and who looks right with this person and who sounds right with this person. And I booked it that way. So if that girl hadn't gotten the cruise contract, I may not have never learned it. And also the funny thing was, every time I would audition for that show, I guess it was twice, I was called for Cleo. I was never called for Fan. So when they gave me Fantasia, I was like, cool, but like I only ever sang for Cleo. Like I think because I'm short. So it was pretty wild when but it's because the vacancy kind of opened up for Fantasia. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
It seems like there's just like there's just like 50 different things that they throw, like you get jobs thrown at you at last second. I mean, this happens in the entertainment industry, but it seems like there's so many more considerations for specifically theme park entertainment work. Like there's just so many variables, so many options.
Yes.
You got to be prepared for anything.
There's nepotism.
Sure.
There's seniority. For example, the Beetlejuice in the link that I think Jason sent you that I was in. He had been a Beetlejuice for decades. So some of them they kept around for each version, but some were not. Some people would get cut between versions, and they were really hurt because it's like, it can feel really personal, but it's like maybe it's just like they changed the song that Dracula sings and now it's not your register, or it doesn't sound right in your voice, or we're changing the look of Bride and, unfortunately, like you don't fit it anymore. You never know. Like you literally never know. So it was always kind of scary. And that's why I kind of put my, like I want to be at this stage, this stage, this stage, this stage, because you never know which one's going to go under, or you never know how long you'll fit that type, or like, it's crazy.
It's interesting too. Like, weren't you at one point like, I worked at Universal these days, and then I'd be at Seaworld these days, or was it Seaworld and Lego? Like when you lived in Orlando, you did like the full rounds.
Yes, so even I would do 2 venues in a day at the same park. I remember one day I did a couple of shows with Frog Choir and then hopped over to Beetlejuice because they needed coverage. So that was always like fun to kind of just like hop around. But yeah, I did some seasonal work with Seaworld. Please don't cancel me. It was it was third party entertainment, so I didn't actually work for SeaWorld. I worked for a third party company, but they did like Christmas and Halloween time stuff for kids and families. So that was a really fun, easy job. I got to be like a pretty princess and like just stand there basically and get paid for a lot of it. Or like for Christmas I was a Polar Express elf, which sounds like funny and lame, but honestly it was so magical. It was so magical. And then I did Legoland. I never worked at Disney. I auditioned at Disney a lot and I got fit for some stuff and it was close to getting some stuff. Oh, and Nick Hotel. I auditioned for Nick Hotel, booked a show, and then the show fell under and then the hotel went under. So I almost worked at
Wow.
Wait, what was that?
What was the role?
It was gonna be like a pop style show, and the audition song was "It's Always a Good Time." Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
I know y'all love that one.
Owl
Banger.
City.
Right.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
So it was gonna be like a Disney Channel rock style show, but for Nick Hotel. And then I booked it, and then they said, "JK, it's not happening. We don't have money." And then it was like.
Wow. Now, but it all worked out because you did. While you didn't get to do Good Time, you did get to both Whip and Nene.
Oh, I have it in my notes too, Scott.
I asked you because you said, like, I knew the show got, as the different versions go on, they add more and more like topical stuff. Like the one around 99, 2000, they had Livin' La Vida Loca in that one. And if you went to Orlando in 1999, 2000, you could not escape Ricky Martin's Livin' La Vida Loca. It was playing in all the parks. It was playing everywhere. And when we said we were going to do this, I was like, well, what was the topical thing in your show? Did you guys do the Harlem Shake? And you went, no, we did the Whip and the Nene. And I was
We
like,
also
of
did the
course.
Harlem Shake. It changed every few months.
Oh,
okay. Yes.
So we did Harlem Shake, I think. We did All About That Bass, which was like, okay. We did Whip and Nene. We did, there was one more. I almost want to say Gangnam Style, but I don't remember if that was it.
The Holy Grail.
But they would change, like, right? Some days I'd go in, and if I happened to be there on the day where they're changing it, it was always kind of exciting because they'd be like, hey guys, we're going to update the Possession song, like when he takes over, and we'd always be like, what is it? And they'd be like, we're doing Whip and Nene. And we'd be like, yeah! And then we'd go out and rehearse it because it would be like a new timed thing. So there was one day I got to be there for a change, and I felt like really cool.
wow, that's
I was
fun.
really lame.
I will be the
'Cause that was
first
my
cast
life.
to Whip and Nene.
It's so dumb, but that's how they make you feel it. Like, it's so competitive there because it's like, that's the gig is like you work in theme parks. So when you get little things like that, even though it means nothing, you feel like, well, did you do that yet? Oh, well, I was there the first. It's so catty. It's so dumb.
Huge pop from the crowd when Frankenstein starts to whip and Nene.
Oh, yeah.
It's very
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it's good.
Pretty funny.
Well, was it? It was the video. It was your video, right? Where it's a psych. They say psych because they're playing for the start of Thriller, and then they go psych, and then Whip and Nene starts. And it's a great misdirect. And then
Could you imagine them having the rights to that song with all the pyro money they put into that show plus rights to that song? They would go bankrupt.
I'm confused. We should really look into this, like what the theme park music rights situation is, because we've seen like Charlie Brown at Knott's Scary Farm do a parody of Thriller called Spooky Night. But is that, do they have to pay, or is it a parody so they don't have to pay?
Parody's covered. No, parody's covered.
Is that why they are allowed to do it? Because they make it the very cutting parody Spooky Night?
Because it's a spooky night.
Also, like, is anyone actually tracking Knott's like approval of things?
It's a pretty big park. I mean, you'd think they would like
I've
have a
never
lawyer.
been.
Oh yeah, we got to go.
Well, the world
in
shut down.
2023, we'll go.
Great.
Do you think Carlos Santana or Rob Thomas was in the audience and then Frankenstein starts playing Smooth? It's just like, what the fuck? I didn't clear this. What the hell?
Yes, I think that's very likely. Yeah, you just started that famous solo up. So yeah, I am confused. I guess they probably have to get the rights, but is it because that Thriller piece is so like short because they're playing the intro? They didn't have to pay for it.
And there might be like one thing off in there, like it might have a slightly different like instrument added. So technically, you could say it's not the same. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Yeah, because those Star Wars the hyperspace hooplas would have tons of new pop songs, and
I feel
like
oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, that's a very visible show.
Yeah, I feel like because Disney has its own Universal has its own like record label too, but Disney Music I think encompasses a lot of different things because of how big it is as a corporation. So I wonder if some of the stuff got in that way for
Maybe.
Disney. I'm not sure. I have friends that did the hoopla though. I just want to say.
Oh wow, really? Did you ever think about trying to do the hoopla?
I think I was too young when that was going on. I am but a child. No, I'm just kidding. I was born in the 90s, though. I will say that.
Great. That reflects.
You were getting out. You were getting out easy. You were getting out easy so far.
I have gotten out pretty easy.
Yeah,
so.
well, we still got some time.
I mean, we still got time. I guess we didn't really talk about how we met. I don't know. How much do you want to share?
At middle school. You met at her middle school.
How much? Well, okay.
I was walking by a candy shop and there was this man. No. Well, we met on a dating app, but we had mutual friends, and we were walking the same way to our first date, like crossing a street at the same way, and like I kind of thought it was him, but it was like awkward, and I was just like, Jason, and he like turned and he was like, hi, and I just was like, hi. But it obviously it went well.
Sounds like a meet cute
to
me.
It was like the best first date. It was cute. Yeah.
It was. Mm-hmm. And you had kind of alluded to working in the theme park sphere, and I had kind of alluded to doing something related
being obsessed with the theme park sphere.
Yeah. So
spending too much time thinking about the theme park sphere.
Did you bring up on the first date like Jim Hill and Len Testa or season pass?
Well,
did you mention any of that?
We just brought up childhood traumas.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
That's a little more relatable. I would say, yeah, save Jim and Len for date 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Seal the
right.
deal.
Yeah, would you say, because you were obviously like you were living the theme park life, but Jason was, Jason. Look, the three of us are outsiders. We didn't. I mean, Scott obviously worked at Universal, but we're not like we weren't like completely immersed in this for years. Like,
not
did
anymore.
You find Jason's...
I'm trying to get back in. I'm working every day.
Well, Scott, you need to be more flexible. You needed to be more flexible. You needed to be able to sub into a Beetlejuice show or a Spider-Man Rocks.
That's true. I never like made it, put it on the table that I could host Fear Factor Live.
Right, or the Animal Actors Show or something. Like, like you get a call this morning, Scott, we need you at the Animal Actors Show. All right, I'll be there.
And then like, everyone say hello to Henry. And then a falcon flies at my face and I go, ah!
One time I got to go meet all those animals, by the way, and like go backstage and see them all. And it was like the best day of my life because they have some that they don't use in the show and they were so cute.
Jeez.
I mean, that sounds
the animals?
very fun to see the animals.
It was
do you think the host of like the Animal Actors ever, maybe he was up playing Beetlejuice maybe like the day before in the morning and he came out and he was like, I just took a shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, the animals here are all trained and they've been in the movies and this is a hawk that can catch a piece of food in its talons.
That's so funny. Well, I will say like for like Frog Choir, you have to have like the accent. Sorry to ruin everybody's illusion that I'm not actually English, but if I was doing that enough, sometimes it would like slip in a little because you just get used to like for meet and greets you have to stay in character and you would talk a lot.
It's okay, sweetie. J.K. Rowling ruined everyone's illusion that she's not a fucking scumbag. Recently,
yeah, that's right. So. At least my job with that ended before that shit show happened.
That's
so,
true.
Hey,
You're not being photographed in the wardrobe of this tainted franchise. So that's good news.
Thank
Just
God.
the biggest money maker for Universal ever.
My God, it sucks.
Now, like, its creator won't shut up.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
if
rough.
Disney had like a entire like land themed to the Cosby Show.
Cosmic
Huxtable
rays? No, Cosby rays.
Oh God, if people do 5 minutes of the psychos who create comic books, if they do 5 minutes of research, Disney
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
in trouble
Don't put that in anyone's
about
head.
those like maniacs and
Oh yeah. So, what was I?
Where were
I'm losing
we?
my train of thought.
Been all around.
Yeah, I'm
We've been
completely
tossing
lost.
You were
I
asking
don't
about
know.
if somebody went from one show to the other. We were talking about
Oh
animal
yeah.
actors.
We were talking about Hoopla,
Hoopla.
Hyperspace Hoopla. Oh, that's what I was going with it. I was going to say like Jason's level of fandom, which is probably similar to our level of fandom. Like when you heard like the information where he would say like, "Oh, I looked at this blog and the blog tells me about a new churro flavor." Was that your type of fandom as well, or were you more like just like, "Hey, this is just my job, buddy"?
So I have to say I also grew up being a theme park nerd. So when we moved away from Florida when I was 10, every year I would order the vacation DVD and watch it like religiously. So I was a little freak too,
Oh, okay.
definitely.
just another nasty little freak like the rest of us.
Just another freak.
Freak, just another this fandom's surprisingly easy to break into.
But also at the time, like, it did also feel like, oh, it's just my job. Like my first show I learned at Universal was Frog Choir as the like conductor in Florida. And I remember like when I booked it, everyone was like, "Oh my God, are you so happy you read all the books?" And I still to this day haven't read all the books. Like I was like, no, like it's a job. Like I was excited. It was really fucking cool, but like it wasn't really my thing. It's
Sure.
a cool job.
So you weren't like I guess yeah, you were just like, oh yeah, I also have an affection for these old free VHS tapes and like let's watch
We clicked pretty fast about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which was nice because I had never. So I remember one of our like first times hanging out too. I was like, "Do you want to watch like this theme park video of like history of this thing?" And I was like, "I've never watched these with anyone but myself." And I think Jason was like, "Yeah, I don't think I have either." And I was like, "This is nice. Like it was cute. Like oh, we're both kind of nerds." And like I told my friends about that. They're like, "You guys are fucking nerds." And I was like, "I know. I love it."
Hey, that's great.
Nerds together.
Lindsay, I think she would say that like she was kind of like a lobster in a pot of water with the theme park stuff. Because when we started dating, we both really loved Disneyland and would go a lot. And then I really started turning up the heat on like blogs and WDW Magic forums and podcasts. And hey, listen to this thing that they said on the Diz. Like that would be so. All of a sudden, years in, she was like, "Okay, I don't need every rumor that you've read on the message board."
Dial it to 60% or so.
Yeah.
We definitely have taken turns. Like, if we were hanging out, like, one of us would be like, "Oh, did you see this thing?" And then the other, I feel like we were 50-50 of like, "No, not now. No theme park right now, please."
That's for sure. Yeah. If I was having like any kind of issue or drama with like the more work side of my work, I would be like, I just can't think about theme parks. Can we do anything else? Like,
yeah.
Okay, let's go back to Beetlejuice.
Yeah, because I have a question.
I'm, like, taking us so off track.
No. This is what
okay.
happens. But
No,
we can't
please.
let this pass without me asking a question about from the video that your last performance. And maybe you don't have the answer. Beetlejuice makes there's topical jokes throughout. He does one of our favorite thing, like the Aladdin genie. But there's one that's baffling to me, which is at some point he looks at someone in the audience and he says, "Hey, Lamar Odom, time to get up."
I caught that too.
Yeah. I mean, I think I know what that joke is.
What is it?
I think so as well.
What he was in like
I
a
don't.
drug-induced coma after spending time at a brothel. Am I wrong?
Oh.
Shit, I missed
the
that.
reference.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like that seems to be what that joke is.
Hospital
That
in
sounds
a
right.
comatose. Oh, geez.
That's pretty dark, but it sounds right,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, look, I know what it was. He was with Khloe Kardashian at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it was
That's
a
what
whole
I knew.
thing. It was a whole, or no. I think he was splitting. They were on and off again, and then he was in the hospital with a coma. Which that's a pretty crazy joke to make at a theme park.
I feel like because it is associated with Kardashians, it's like, guys, Kardashians is safe space. Like, everybody fucking hates them. Just dish on them all day. Like, I feel like anything Kardashian related is always like, haha, they're gonna fucking love that. And it's like, okay.
In the previous version that ran in the early till 2000s to 2014, there is like rapid fire Paris Hilton jokes, but then in a version I watched, he makes a very quick reference to the mayor of Toronto, which I believe was the reference to the now deceased Rob Ford, the former maniac mayor of Toronto.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, that I will say though, the Lamar, that joke seems crazier to me. And I don't know what the time frame.
Yeah.
Maybe he was out of the coma at this point, but that is I can't imagine the genie making a joke about that during the Aladdin show. Like, oh, you taking a nap? Are you Lamar Odom? Like
grittier. That made me think of something to bring to the table, which is there's Paris Hilton stuff. I saw a really old one that is we're gonna have some monsters here. Call them the Jerry Springer Show rejects. So that kind of thing, and that's a good slot, right? Is calling somebody a monster. When I think there's one with Kim and Kanye at some point in time, and I was like, if this thing was still going in 2020, is there a safe celebrity to put in that slot where everyone would laugh and where it's not problematic in some way?
Yes, any of the 20 executive branch members who got COVID from their own hubris.
Well, that's what we think, but...
Well, that's but that doesn't play. Jason, they're going to play in Florida.
They're not going to do that.
All right.
I mean, I agree
them.
they're open to be mocked, but I don't think they're even doing like a Trump hair joke. I think Theme Park World is so skittish that they would not even make fun of his orange complexion.
Well, I mean, in the version that I was in, he does make a Mary-Kate and Ashley joke.
Oh.
Because he has the little shrunken head thingies, and there's like very bony and skinny, and I think that's the joke. And I think it's still kind of mean, but also kind of like, I think they've been out of the spotlight enough, but it's not really 2020. I'm trying to think. I don't know if there is.
I mean, if you're a question, I don't think relevant celebrity probably, but like up until, whenever the Aladdin show went away, which is a couple of years already, Genie up until the very end was making a Dr. Phil joke.
And Snooki.
So, and
yes.
I feel like that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's a couple years past its prime. There's been consistent. Dr. Phil's just on the air. You know who he is. He doesn't have any controversy, but he sounds like this, so you can say, like, it has to be that safe.
I feel like
reference.
Carrot Top is like a good, but he's not really distinct. But I feel like Carrot, it's not good. I don't
Not a
know.
bad
It's got to
thought.
be, I know what you mean. It's got to be kind of culturally, like everyone needs to know
Like
it.
we all agree we hate the Pauls. Everyone hates Logan and Jake Paul, but I don't think a theme park audience would necessarily know who they were.
Right.
It would be like, I think also the reference probably, especially right now, would probably have to be like, hey, Taylor Swift, I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
Yes.
That's
funny.
Like, that would have to be the type of thing, I think, where it's just like, that's just a reference.
Sure.
It's not insulting Taylor Swift.
Maybe
Nice Beetlejuice,
slightly
by the way.
the idea that
Thank
she
you.
is overexposed. Maybe like people are tired of Taylor Swift. Maybe that is a fair theme park joke to make. Maybe. I'm still not super confident.
Right. I think.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Goes to show
right
you.
now,
Just
what
go
is-
way back and like do 80s references. Like, I pity the fool. Like, just stupid shit. That's like,
I think you.
I gotta watch it. I'm gonna get fired like Roseanne Barr.
I could see that flying, to be honest with you. I could see
Right?
that being a thing. That actually sounds about right.
It's a few years old. Everyone knew she got fired.
And nobody cares anymore because our world's
no
on
one
fire
cares.
in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You got to have a little
That- yeah.
distance.
You might have
You
You might
got to have a little distance right now, I think. It does sound like we're like railing against this new theme park cancel culture. We want the jokes back.
Everybody
We
should
want to be
on
able
the
to say
table.
whatever Beetlejuice should have freedom of speech. He should be allowed to eviscerate the pop culture celebrities.
They would like sometimes try jokes out, and if we had one of our not managers, I guess, but like directors watching, they'd be like, maybe not that one. Like,
Yeah.
another cute thing to get us back into the show a little bit more. The two people that were like the head of our training were two of the original brides in the first show in Orlando, and the original bride in Orlando and Frankenstein are still married to this day.
Whoa.
Wow, true love.
Oh, they
True
met
monster
doing
love.
that, and then that sets me up the collision of this show and pop culture. I gotta show you guys these photos because there's a big celebrity presence in the history of this show. Why, right there in the middle, we got Wayne Brady as Dracula, who I imagine came up. We're doing this out of order, but I'm sure came up in the Ghostbusters episode. And then probably most famously, one Joey Fatone, who was a very regular performer. I think spent some time as Wolfie the Wolfman, but I logged some time as Dracula as well.
I do have a story about Joey Fatone.
Oh, great.
Related to
Yes.
Beetlejuice. So the closing party that we had was like after the final performance, which was like after hours, kind of just for the cast and crew and some other people. And this again was like a week before I was about to leave. So it was just kind of like this final goodbye party. And a lot of the original cast or people who had done the roles previously were there. And Joey Fatone and what's the other one that lives in Orlando? What are the not Lance or JC, but
Chris
what are the other two?
Kirkpatrick.
I think it was Chris Kirkpatrick. They were there, well, at least at the after party, but Joey Fatone was there. And I remember, he's just like, he lives in Orlando. Like he just lives in Orlando. Like it's very chill. I don't know if I can say, but, no, I'm just saying like they're very normal, chill, like Orlando vibes. So he was just like chilling. I remember talking to him being like, hey man, what's going on? And just being like, oh, I'm moving to LA next week. And he's like, oh, I just left LA. And I was like, that's cool. And then we went to the after party at like a bar. Yeah. And Chris Kirkpatrick shows up and we're all like doing shots and shit. And I'm like, I'm drinking with two people from NSYNC. Like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, so yeah, they were cool. And then Wayne Brady, he's kind of still like around in that way. Like he still talks to a lot of theme park people that he knows that are like mutual with the people I know. And I remember in the training group that I did, we didn't really have a lot of people of color in the show, so it was always very exciting when we did. And I remember in my training group, we did have a person of color playing Dracula, and he posted about it, and Wayne Brady was like, hell yeah, keep it going, man. Like, he was very supportive, and like, am I going to get canceled for saying that? I was trying to make it nice.
Oh, no. That's nice.
Okay.
It seems like Wayne Brady was trying to be supportive. And
Yeah.
Seemed like he was still
being very
invested in the community.
Keeping an eye on the
he's really
Dracula
cool.
community.
Now you might get in trouble because Chris Kirkpatrick has been lying low for a couple decades now because he's still
true.
terrified Eminem will kick his ass.
That's
Now
funny.
that's a good Jason. That's a good safe reference. Now it's
That
20.
is a
it's
good
20
safe
years old.
reference.
It's 20 years old.
Yeah. Unfortunately, much of culture is now both stan in the generic term and stan the maniacal fan who may kill you.
Yeah, why have we embraced this term? Why do people want to be like Stan? I don't understand this.
It's a term of endearment now, I think, because like someone will be like, "Oh my god, you're like so cool. I totally stand." And it's like, "Are you 17?" Probably.
My thing with Stan is that like it feel like it came way late compared to the song.
Oh, that's the whole thing. Is like it's a throwback, kind of thing. Like kids or not kids, but like teenagers discovering what that is. Maybe I think like maybe adults who actually knew the song started it, but then kids were like, "What does that mean?" They're like, "Oh, it's like a throwback." I'm cool now. Like I didn't know that song.
Jayne, do you think do you know more youthful slang than Jason, or is he impressed
sure.
you? Okay, yeah, okay. So honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, are you actually giving him the youthful slang he often uses, and he's sort of passing it off as if he's young and hip?
Yeah, there it is.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I have been the mastermind of this puppetry.
Okay.
Well, now, okay.
The Palpatine to his Snoke. in the tube.
You know it sincerely, but honey, I made you a promise. I will, like I said many times, I'm never going to learn who Dua Lipa is. I just will not. It's just never gonna happen.
I'll be like, oh my God, did you see that? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'll go off on stuff. And he's like, yes, something I definitely know. Dua
yes.
Lipa and DaBaby's new remix.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is so
Meanwhile,
good.
he writes down "da baby" and he knows he's going to put it in his pocket for the next episode to make
For
our
sure.
listeners think that he's just on the cutting edge of culture.
Why, just this morning we were talking about Blackpink's new album called The Album and how he wanted to buy one of the sweatshirts that's oversized and just says ice cream, which I support. Hell
Well,
yeah.
yes,
King.
there's a big hit single with Selena Gomez of Blackpink that says ice cream, called
good
Ice Cream,
song.
and they sing about ice
So
cream.
the kids
Wow.
still like
So-
ice
It's a
cream?
metaphor.
I guess we are cool.
Oh yeah,
Hey, let me tell you about ice cream, kids.
Definitely not a metaphor for something much dirtier, but yeah.
No, it's
Oh,
just
I-
about the
it's
The sweet treat.
fine.
um.
They don't do that stuff in Korea.
Oh
They
my
got
God.
they got so many minders on the K-pop stuff. Like they filter all that.
Good
stuff
with the
out.
cream, if you know what I mean. Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream is one of them.
It just sounds like
Sounds like Ben and
ingredients list to me.
just a
Yeah.
jingle.
Yeah, sounds like Ben and Jerry's run.
I take it.
Yeah.
I take it at face value. This will really prove how at the opposite end of this spectrum I am, and in fact, in that I pine for pop culture that is from before I was alive, because I really lit up. Here, let me just share the screen and throw this on. I was the most excited that this song appeared in an iteration of the show. This is from 1999. That's a like. Can even everyone on this Zoom say what that song is?
I can't
No,
say the
I
name.
don't
I know
know.
it, but I don't know the name of it.
Not even. But this is a crossover of Styx into theme park world. That is Rockin' the Paradise, made into Rockin' with Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
And what could be more rockin' than that? With the just that rockin' with Beetlejuice. It reminded me so much of the Simpsons halftime show where they do the Lou Reed Walk on the Wild Side.
Oh yeah, Walk on the Wild Side.
Doop-a-doop. I mean,
This-
good news for me. I mean, Styx, if you know, I don't know if there's a lot of crossover our fans and Styx fans, but Styx is about as like, Styx rocks about as hard as a band comprised of Frankenstein and Dracula. They sort of are Beetlejuice's Graveyard Revue. So this makes a lot of sense to me.
I did in high school. Our halftime show at the football games was all Styx songs.
It would, so like, wait,
I played
what?
a
What was
trumpet
it?
in that. We did Mr. Roboto. We did the big hits. Help me out
Lady
here. I haven't
and
thought about
Babe and Too Much Time on My Hands.
too much time on my hands.
Great.
We did.
You wouldn't have done Heavy
God.
Metal Poisoning or any other deep
No,
Kilroy
no.
tracks.
We did too much. We said "Come Sail Away." Too much time on my hands. Mr. Roboto.
What kind of band is this?
a marching
It was a
band.
marching band. You did it. It was an entire
best
marching band
arrangements.
Styx set.
Yes, we had a new band leader come in my senior year, and he threw everything up in the air. As far as like before that, it was all John Philip Sousa, and then he was like this, like slightly younger in his early 50s man who just decided to switch the whole thing up, and it was like we're playing Styx at halftime, and then when we went to Disney World that year, we played Paul Simon's Late in the Evening as we walked down Main Street, not John Philip Sousa or some sort of march.
Whoa. Switching out of John Philip Sousa is like the updating it to a DaBaby reference today.
Yes.
They're exactly equivalent. Wow.
And we were all I have never really gotten into Styx. I'm sure now maybe if I started to do a deep dive I'll appreciate it more, but at the time we were all just so confused.
It's just
Like, why
the
are we
thing
doing
is,
this?
It's there's no question it's the best behind the music to me. Learning about the tour where they acted and made a short film and played robots, I mean the best ever.
I will
just find that behind the music. It's
I will do that.
glorious. Classic rock strewn throughout it too, because then Dracula performs a medley of just a regular cover of Hot Blooded, but dovetailed with I guess a parody, Addicted to Blood. Might as well face it, I'm addicted to blood. So that's a blast.
And sometimes there's parodies and sometimes there's not.
Yeah, even within that's like a parody followed by not a parody, back to back.
Right. So it's interesting because Beetlejuice comes out at the start of the show and he's being very, very, very bawdy. But then they go into a very clean parody of Prince's "Let's Go Crazy."
Mm-hmm.
But it is a parody. I wrote down a line.
They don't make it "Let's go shitting."
Right. Let's go shitting.
Let's go get some corn.
Let's drop corn.
I see. Oh, I was gonna be bawdy. I was gonna make a bawdy joke.
Looking for the purple banana, and I'll put it in my butt. And that's the full body parody. Let's go crazy.
Yeah.
The original one has the most like hooray for everything kind of like variety show vibes, but I was surprised how much like current-ish music for the time was in it for the early 90s.
The Let's Go Crazy. I was thinking Let's Go Crazy though was going to be a holdover from there because it felt like such a clean. The line is like, "Night is young, got to take a bite. So hot, I feel a jolt. Got to party tonight." Which feels very like hooray for everything, clean version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's so hot, I feel the jolt. Gonna party tonight.
Do you know all the words from the parody, Jane?
I believe so. I can also do Cleo's rap, but I won't because I
can
if you request it.
Well, your big song was "Sweet Dreams."
Yes.
"Sweet Dreams" are made of this, which later in the show, mashups very popular in the 2010s was mashed up with "Smooth Criminal," which I think it's really cool. They got an Alien Ant Farm song in there, And then there was also Ballroom Blitz mashup.
So many to choose from.
You'd think they would have gone with the movies, the Alien Ant Farm song about movies. But they went with Smooth Criminal.
Not as big of a hit, movies.
No, not as big of a hit.
I kind of like movies, though. I'll be honest.
I do, too.
I don't think I know movies by Alien.
Scott, you don't know the Alien Ant Farm song?
You don't know movies? They get dressed up like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, there's a video where they're dressed up.
Yeesh. I don't know it.
I'm not going to go too hard because I haven't heard it in a couple of years, and it's probably not as good as my memory says it is.
Might not hold up, maybe.
Might not hold up.
Can I go back to 2006 if we're going to talk about raps?
Yes.
I think from what I found, my favorite rap performance in any of the... They rung in 2006 the right way with this little number.
Salute. What is is it a parody? Is it a parody or is it just the song?
I think it's just the
original lyrics, of course.
Yeah, really the one we know is a parody in a way. It's a clean parody.
What song? I couldn't. It was a little too.
Let's get it started.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because
in here.
We watched this version together, and I was like, oh no, the audio messed up. They're playing the album cut. Oh no,
they put the wrong CD in.
They're live singing, Jason.
They're live singing. And they seem excited. Oh no.
I think the Black Eyed Peas are like the Styx of rap. I think that's about like they are as legitimate to rap as Styx was to rock.
Will.i.am looks like he drives Beetlejuice's car. How about that? He's got that big purple car.
Yeah, that is like oh, that car. Wow. Look up the car if you don't know the car. Oh, that reminds me of another question I have. Do we think that in 2013 that Beetlejuice made a topical joke that was like, hey, anybody see the VMAs? Robin Thicke's been stealing my wardrobe.
For sure. He made that joke.
Has to.
I feel like they almost made that joke when I freaking did it.
That might have still been relevant. That brought Beetlejuice back into pop culture.
Just because it's so specific, and people remember it. Oh, for sure they made that
Wow,
joke.
that's nice to hear.
That would've-
I
yeah,
could have
had-
written for it.
had to have.
It's nice to know I could have cut it as a writer for the mashup.
Yeah.
We've been begging to be writers on one of these things, and no one has taken us up on it. No theme park has contacted us and said, write a show like this for us. We're ready to do it.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm shell shocked.
I know for a fact there was some powerhouse talent involved in Jayne's version and the mashup version, because one of the companies involved in making it, why they knew something about rock and roll, all right. They're called Renaissance Entertainment, and their co-owner and CEO is a man named John Binkowski, the former head of Hard Rock Park, baby.
Cool. Whoa. The rockinest company in all of theme park entertainment.
All rockin' roads lead to one man.
Lead to one man, the man himself.
Binkowski, come on, hook us up,
We gotta
Binkowski.
talk to this guy. We really gotta talk to this
We
guy.
gotta talk to this guy.
It's funny with turning it into Fast and Furious that that's like a little I think that is Universal's attempt at being current pop culture relevant, whether or not it's successful. But it's like they took this spot. It's like this area in the park is meant to be the spot for the kids, and by that I mean the spot where they show what kids were talking about 7 years prior. But at least that is maintained kind of by turning it into Fast and Furious.
Right, that's true. But it sounds like it's again. I haven't been on the Orlando one either. It sounds like it's not quite the same.
5 minutes into watching these Beetlejuice things, I'm like, oh, this is more fun than Supercharged.
I mean, it is. It is.
It's missing. I feel like that park is missing a certain energy of this kind of like Universal. Like, it's very loud. It's very pop culture-y. It's just a little body. Like they've kind of stripped a lot of that out. Not even before COVID times. I mean.
Yeah, if the one in the early 90s, I felt like it had such an 80s aesthetic to it. I guess I'm viewing it through the lens of like, oh, that's cool the way they were making it look back then, but it's just because that's what that was actually current. I'm thinking it was nostalgic back then, but it's like it feels like something like fun and very themed. It just feels more specific, I guess, is what I'm saying, than like a screen ride. Like it feels more unique and original, even though it's a framework of a theme park show, but it feels like, oh, this would be a fun little thing that's different than everything else.
Yeah.
And as I say that, of course, they were playing Great Balls of Fire in 1992. A 30-year-old Jerry Lee Lewis
rock and
song.
roll all night and party every day. Yeah.
Like I don't.
I'll say this for comedy. There is one of the jokes that I really appreciated was there was a moment in one of the versions where Frankenstein, they shoot off a bunch of pyro and Frankenstein freaks out at the fire. That's a solid joke.
That's a good joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of played Frankenstein as a little like dumb but lovable was kind of his thing. At least in our version was like, and in our version too, it was supposed to be like in the previous versions, it was like he and the bride kind of had this like on again, off again, or like whatever. But in our version, it's like they're settled down, they're a couple. It's very cute. Like that was supposed to be their like arc, I guess, if there is one. But like, so that was kind of cute. They made him just like dumb, lovable, and like established that they were together. And the reason that worked is because they made Dracula like Fantasia's like love interest or vice versa, because in the previous shows, Dracula would kind of be like, I wish that I had Frankie's girl, like all that stuff. So then I can't believe I just said that.
That's a solid joke too.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
So like in our version, right before Fantasia's entrance, Beetlejuice is like, oh, still haven't found anybody, Drac. And he goes, I've tried in vain, but I couldn't find my type. And he like gets the bride. And then the bride's like, it's time for some new blood. And so then I come out and then it's supposed to be like Dracula's like, oh, who's she? And then he gets distracted by her. And then Cleo and Wolfman are kind of a couple. So it was kind of like couples.
This whole thing is about trying to
right.
get monsters to hook up.
Hell yeah.
This is a big rock and roll monster key party. Keys in the bowl gang. Keys, your giant castle, foot-long castle keys.
Igor's keys.
The keys.
The
the drag keys to the Dragula.
Yup.
Do you know any other any
it was-
info about Fantasia's backstory or like what? I guess the question I have is what happened to her dad?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know. I think it was kind of up for interpretation, but like there are some cute moments where like if you're paying attention enough, there's little nods to him. Like when they do the girls just want to have fun bit for like the girl characters. Fantasia specifically sings the "Oh Daddy Dear, you know you're still number one," and the choreography was like you as many times as you can draw attention to your mask because that's your kind of go-to thing for your character. So like Cleo's was like your go-to thing is mummy hands and like Egyptian hands, and then Fantasia's go-to is like the rock hand and like the put your hand over your mask thing. So it was "Oh Daddy Dear, you know you're," and then you would do the little mask and "still number one." So like there's little nods if you're paying attention, but you know most people kind of miss.
Is
that,
the number
but
one?
I don't know.
I read
I
it as
think-
pointing to the sky, like maybe he died.
I kind of take it that way too, but
I have a different reading of it. I think he's up in the rafters enjoying his daughter performing.
Maybe that's it.
much more wholesome.
Right. That's what he loves being in the rafters, for God's sake. That's his whole thing.
In the rafters, in the basement.
Right. He loves
you
to
know.
lurk about. So like he's not going to be in the audience with the tourists. He's going to be up, watching
Gives
from
her
the sky.
notes after every show. You were flat
Yeah.
here and you were sharp
Yeah.
here.
Check that contouring
He
down.
is kind of a tyrant.
Oh no, it's a gypsy. It's a gypsy Rose Lee.
She's like, Dracula, save me.
Take me away. I lie and say Daddy's number one. It's not true.
Oh, Daddy dear, you know you're still number one.
Jane, do you have any do you remember any just like times like the show went a little awry, funny stories with like other cast or like anything stick out like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even in watching the same video I keep referring to, there's some stuff where I was like, that was definitely something we all tried to like make happen that wasn't really allowed, but we were closing. Like, if you notice in Ballroom Blitz, I crawl under Frankenstein's legs, which was just us fucking around being like, dude, I'm gonna crawl under your legs when you cross from here to here. Be like, okay, man. Like, stuff like that. Or in that show too, we were like, guys, let's add all the riffs that we can. And so you'll notice that some stuff, there's like added riffs that we know because we've heard the show a million times, and we'll be like, I tried to add a riff here, and you'll see people kind of laugh and be like, nice. And then also in that show, for some reason, one of the dancers, one of the male dancers in that show, me and him had this like inside joke about like who could get the last like 2 claps in before we had to move to the next thing. So whenever we were like dancing together in like What I Like About You, you can see us like both doing this because it was something that no one would really catch. But I think we were all just trying to have a good time because we were all really sad that it was closing and people were moving. And so it's just like stupid shit like that. We had really fun backstage like happenings, like just just funny shit. Because there were a lot of like costumes from the old shows. There'd be random wigs and shit everywhere too. So people would have fun with that, and we'd all trade wigs. Like I would, because we had like wig caps on and stuff, and we would take a lot of stuff off because it was so hot. So one time I'd be like, oh my God, can I try on your wig? I want to see what I'd look like at this. Or like, oh my God, what if we did it like this? Like we would just had fun. Like it was just such a silly fun time, and like it really is like a family. Like we all still talk, and we're all in like a Facebook group of like Monster Family, and like if someone's out here
That's nice.
which sounds funny, I guess. No, it is nice. And so like if someone's out here, I'll be like, oh my God, I live here now. Like, do you want to hang out? Like there's a guy who did sound for us who also does or did, I guess, tour stuff. So he did the Green Day tour, and he was doing something else. And anytime he was out here rehearsing in Burbank, I'd be like, hey man, let's hang out. And like we would hang out. And so it's just like not even a question. So it is like this really like runs in the blood, especially with like the original brides really being a big part of each iteration. It was kind of like a nice family to get, kind of invited into. And another funny thing backstage too, which I have a picture of, and I'm sure Jason can send you guys, we had like a full-size Beetlejuice man like figure
statue,
yeah. But like it was not, it had like real clothes on. It wasn't like hard. It was like an actual like figure, but it was man-sized, and it would scare the crap out of me all the time. But we had one, and we would always dress him up funny, and like for Mardi Gras put beads on him, and at Christmas we made it look like he was decorating the tree. So like that's pretty funny. And like the chair that was on the turntable before, the red chair, our stage manager had that as her chair in her office. So if you'd go into the office, she was like sitting in the chair. Like, it was just, everyone loved it, and like it was just a fun time. And I think that's really why it's so sad it's gone, because my first thought was like, they're gonna destroy that break room where we had all that fun. Like, that was really what my first thought was, like, wow, that sucks. Like, you know, we had so much fun occupying time between shows and just like, you know, being stupid. And we did, like, a lot of us did our own makeup. I mean, Frankenstein, Beetlejuice, and Wolfman had like airbrushing and stuff, but the girls did a lot of their own makeup, so we would just be like at the makeup mirrors just like having fun. And like, some days sucked, but so does every job. But like, that's what I take away from it for sure. It's just like, it was so fun. Like, sometimes it didn't sound good, sometimes it didn't look good, and I'll be the first to tell you that. It's hard as hell to do all that cardio and belt and not be flat. I'm flat as hell all the time in that show. But did I have fun? Yes. Like, was it like living my best life? Yes. Like,
Wow.
I
The
don't know.
Graveyard
Yeah, good
Review
memories of
was
that
the
show.
peak of, not the peak, but like a just a glory days in your life, having monster slumber parties.
It felt like a rock star. I mean, I had like the Britney Spears mic. We always called them the Britney Spears mic. These old ass, like, big black, like, mics. And yeah, it was just a good time. We fucked around all the time on stage. Like, we just, yeah, it was fun.
It sounds great. I, in hindsight, wish I went right to Orlando at 18, did a bunch of shows, partied at Pleasure Island every night. And that, like, that would have, seems like very fun. And it's nice hearing that it seems like it was fun for the most part.
Yeah. It really was fun. Sorry. Do you
I thought it
hear
was gonna be
that
a
dinging
caveat.
noise? No. Jason, do you hear that dinging noise? It just stopped.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
We can maybe cut that.
no, I
It
think
was
it's
like-
fine.
The
It sounded
cookies-
like an alarm, and I was like, oh my God, what is that?
The cookies,
That's
The cookies
Jason's
are done.
cookies are done.
No,
Jason has
I will
a
say, yeah,
90-minute
cookies are
oven
done.
cookie recipe.
No, I didn't mean for that to come off like that. I was very distracted. No, it really
No,
was. We, you know, after shows, we'd be like, do you guys want to go to Food and Wine tonight? And be like, hell yeah, we'll meet you there. Like, oh, I was working over at this job today. I just did my shows there, but you going to, like, you know, it really was this cool, like, experience to, I'm very lucky to have had, like, just living in Orlando as an adult, working in that industry. Like, I'm very glad that I'm where I am now and I'm no longer there, but at the same time, there's very fond memories and I learned a lot. And like, who gets to just be like, do you guys want to go to Food and Wine tonight for fun? It's like, yeah, okay. Like, that was like date night. That was like going out night. Like, I don't know. That's like one of my favorite memories. Like, I would go after Beetlejuice and I'd still have some of the crazy makeup on and we would just go drink around the world. Like, oh, so
Did
fun.
Mike mess
Hey,
up?
this
Should
is-
Mike have done the alternate
Yes,
path?
I did. I absolutely messed up. I'm not saying I would have moved out here. I'm just saying, though, instead of going to community college and stayed in my hometown, I should have gone to Orlando and had fun. I totally messed up.
Mike, whenever you talk like that, I always say the same thing. You got to get back in improv classes. You got to get some refreshers
Jason,
going.
shut the fuck
Yes.
up, Jason. So upset when you make those jokes. We wasted our whole lives doing improv. I don't need to go back.
What'd you spend years doing
That was
classes
so
on? You should have come into my Graveyard Review instead. You should have been in a
I
real
should have
show,
been
brother.
playing. Should have been playing Beetlejuice. That's what I
You
should have been doing.
honestly, your height would work to your advantage for a lot of stuff. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
would book stuff, especially horror nights. I don't know if that would interest you at all, but your height, you would get booked immediately for shit. Like, you would be Frankenstein everywhere. Like,
As long as I can play the Goblin Beetlejuice character in any of these, like, just do that voice for any of these characters, I'm absolutely in. I'm
Love
very
it.
game.
You
for
are
that.
going to have to do jokes
Yeah.
that are related to fecal matter.
Look, if I will go to church. I will pray on it.
Go to the Holy Land
I'll
experience.
lament,
Light a candle.
and
I used to
then-
live right
yeah.
by the Holy Experience.
Oh
by the way.
boy. Did you
Wow.
hear the baptisms
I would
in
have
your
to
yard?
turn down that street. No, but I would have to turn down that street and pass all of the big, like, animals just to get to my apartment.
Oh, wow.
I love, like, Universal Orlando is like, you go a couple blocks and you hit a Publix supermarket. But I feel like you told me, it's like, yeah, you know what's next to Holy Land Experience? A Target.
Yeah.
Like this.
It's right by Mall at Millennia. You cross over I-4 and, like, it's Holy Land, and then Target, Krispy Kreme, Panda Express, like the whole mall.
So just
like it was just off
like
I-4.
like go get some diapers in the morning, then get blessed into a bathing pool by Jesus himself, then go pick up some orange chicken. Just get it all done in the same little stage.
Catch a crucifixion on the hour every hour. Like just hit it
Quick
up, man.
crucifixion.
Quick crucifixion.
Closing thoughts about this show. I mean, I'm now like, I wish it was still there. I wish it was still there in Florida. Or in Hollywood rather. It's one thing that's strange about it is that it went away, and then they moved the special effects stage show, which we talked about with Carl Tart, up to like that happens in this castle theater. And clearly the Castle Theater is a place where Beetlejuice should be performing, not where you should be learning how a chroma key works. It's right there. It's waiting for him. I think it's a bummer there aren't monsters dancing around and rocking in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even more insulting in Hollywood, what replaced it was Spider-Man Rocks.
Lord.
Yeah.
I could be in that show, though.
You could.
Would you have saved it? Would it still be going with your...
I think, yes, that's basically what I was trying to say, is that I would have saved it. I would have been. I would have.
I can fix him.
Yeah, I would have played multiple characters in the show once. I think I would have done a lot of costume changes. Let me make one point.
Mm-hmm.
This is sort of this is related, but the song "What I Like About You" by the Romantics. I don't know why I have I don't ever want to hear it again.
Because it's in too many commercials.
Honestly,
and
same.
It's just too right.
It doesn't exist as a
right?
song anymore.
Yeah.
It's been ruined.
Right. But I feel like there's some songs where I think it was overused in commercials. Then a couple years later, I'm listening to it and I go, man, this is a really good song. I just maybe got too tired of hearing it. But the Romantics, "What I Like About You," I can't get rid of it.
You don't?
I kind of agree with you. It also kind of brings some PTSD because that was the most cardio song that I had to do right before the mashup of Smooth Criminal and Sweet Dreams. So I'm like, oh God, here comes that song. So I just have
There's so much dancing in your version. There was 10 people on stage. When we watched the previous version, we're like, there's 6 people on this massive stage. It feels empty. So they fixed that.
Mm-hmm.
What I Like About You also used in a lot of promotion for sitcom commercials. It's like the 2 guys, a girl, and pizza place is back. What I like about you,
Well, and is it in this the Amanda Bynes Jenny Garth show? "What I Like About You," right?
Yes.
Oh,
It was the theme of
they
it,
named
but
the
that
show
was the
after it
name.
as well.
Was it?
Yeah, I agree. I think that song can be done for now. It died
Yeah.
with the
I think
show.
we've heard it
It died with the
plenty.
show.
Yeah. Beetlejuice was the ultimate iteration of it, and what else are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Right.
it was fun. Because then it went into, didn't it go into something? It went from, oh no, I guess not. That one was maybe the only one that wasn't a mashup.
Yeah, that one got a
Which is
lot of
funny.
time. That one got a lot of time.
It
I was
did.
like,
Well-
this is the most they've played a song. They've done a song. It was "What I Like About You."
I think it's because they really wanted to highlight that there's 3 couples, but there's so much going on. It's still kind of hard to figure that out. But it is that's when they're like, oh, look, that person's with that person. And
It rolls into "You Really Got Me" going.
oh,
You really
yeah,
got
you really
me.
got
Yeah.
me. You really
Which
got
that
me.
one's less
Mhm.
played out. So we're saying less "What I Like About You," but how about far more "What Does the Fox Say"?
Yes.
It was perfect. Watch. I wanted more of that. I wanted more Gangnam Style. I started thinking about some 2010 stuff of I realized I never finished watching, I never watched the last season of Girls. But
What?
I'm
This
happy.
Beetlejuice
I'm never
reminded you of that?
Yeah, what?
Well, I was thinking about
he
how
looks
much
just like Lena Dunham. I know.
how much 2010 stuff I'm like, I never need to revisit this, but watching this I was like, I like seeing Watch Me Whip and Nene. It's fun to hear What Does the Fox Say.
Well, yeah,
So
spoiler.
I guess I'm holding on to novelty songs.
The last episode of Girls is they all dance to "Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nene." It's almost exactly
I
like
mean, that'd be great.
Beetlejuice's Graveyard Review.
Yeah. Do you think if the show was happening today, Wolfman would be riding on the back of a vehicle as "Dreams" by Fleetwood Mac played, and he was drinking ocean spray? Because I think that's a slam dunk.
I think that's it. Is there some configuration of 7 to do like a BTS song?
They would never get the rights for that, I feel like.
You don't think so? No.
Well, I mean, in Dream World, I guess you could. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jeannie would definitely, if the show was happening in California Adventure, Jeannie would definitely bring a bottle of juice on stage.
Well,
And sing
is the
dreams.
only the answer maybe is that if theme parks are not going to be able to have these shows, like all of these characters maybe need to keep living on TikTok. Like all these
exactly
Beetlejuice,
right.
all these Beetlejuice, as you said, multiple Beetlejuices strewn about the world.
I always called them that.
Like need to get
Beetlejuice.
a TikTok account going and start start firing those parodies out ASAP.
Put the word out on that Facebook group, I think.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll get him. I'll round him up and we'll make something happen.
Okay, we're getting reports that Beetlejuice has stopped skateboarding and started complaining about ballot harvesting. Shut it down, folks. Shut it down.
Nothing can be fun. It's 2020. Nothing's fun
Nothing
ever.
can be TikTok.
This was fun, though. This was a blast to talk about this. And Jayne Claire, you survived Hauntcast the Fright. Thanks for joining us. So fun to talk to you about all this stuff.
It was so nice to be
Yeah.
here.
What?
Yeah, thank you so much.
So much fun. Let's exit through the gift shop. Is there anything you would like to plug?
Oh, sure. I just released a single a few weeks ago and a music video. So you can stream that anywhere, any platform, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, blah, blah, blah. It's on YouTube. On socials, I'm on Instagram and Twitter _Jayne Claire_ because the person who has @Jayne Claire has been inactive for years and I can't do anything about it. So I got to add that underscore. But yeah.
Can they find...
Jane with a Y. Jane with a Y.
Oh, yes.
You gotta remember the Y.
JAYNE.
And they can find the song under your real name on like Spotify.
Yeah, so just search. The song is called "So Glad You're Mine." I bet you have no idea who I wrote that about.
Yeah.
No, but actually something cute. Jason helped me film that, so I filmed a lot of the B-roll, but the stuff that I couldn't film, Jason filmed for me. So that's a cute little thing.
Guys,
That is a cute little thing.
Duet collab. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone check that out.
Well, and as always, the three of our romantic collaboration that we call Podcast the Ride is available every Friday. You can find out more on social media. We got our TeePublic, and there's 3 bonus episodes every month. This month, Behind the Cemetery Gate at patreon.com/Podcast the Ride.
Yeah. So just to sum up, I already said the thing about what I like about you.
Well, then
so.
I think we have to I think we end with we have to do the clap. So all right. Well, and we hope you liked that episode of Podcast the Ride. Clap, clap, clap. Are there 3? Did I do it right? Clap, clap. No, wait, there's 4. And that's what we like about Beetlejuice's Graveyard Revue. Clap, 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 clap.
Revue.
There. Very clean.
Well, we gotta say Beetlejuice 3 times to close it out.
Oh.
You know, that's how you gotta end the show because that's how we ended the show. Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
That's how you end it.
Beetlejuice. Wait. Hold on real quick. I don't want to go in overtime here, but if all 3 of us say his name at the same time since we're in separate places, would he all appear? He would get confused, right? What would happen?
Yeah, how do they deal with Zoom?
He shows up in a new Zoom window because he also is worried about catching the coronavirus.
So he would pop in broadcasting from the underworld.
I'm remotely zoning in.
Oh, works. There he is.
I'm
He's
afraid.
here already.
I'm back. I just took a huge shit.
Beetlejuice. Let's get out of here.
Beetlejuice.
All right. so long.
Forever Dog. This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Mike Carlson, Jason Sheridan, Scott Gardner, Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcasts.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep up with the latest Forever Dog news by following us on Twitter and Instagram @ForeverDogTeam and liking our page on Facebook.